Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence. Today we're going to take a look at the GI Joe Classified Tripwire, Apsara, and the Chris McLeod from the Full Force. Well, maybe that's not exactly it, but it is McLeod. So anyway, we have GI Joe Tripwire, Boom, Apsara, the rat, and I did look up how to pronounce it, and the Chris McLeod of McLeod. Again, you can put two and two together. It's right there. That is the little drone that's going to be used to defuse the bombs. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this figure. Just got it. Pulse exclusive. It is available. Well, at least it was available. It's shipping. If you don't have it, it might be still available. I'm not going to go look. It's up to you. So anyway, there we go. Here's everything that it comes with. GI Joe across it. Number 78. Again, you get the file card or the QR code that leads you to absolutely nowhere. I don't really get into that. If you're interested in that, you can figure out exactly what this is. I need some sort of file card, whether it be digital or not. And then on the back, here we have the actual figure. Now, I'm really interested to find out if we can make two figures using maybe a $5 figure they get from Aldi's, maybe an old Valibers figure, something like that, to create two figures out of one. So here we have a tripwire. Everything that he comes with, you can see, it looks like he has two different vests, two different helmets. So you can create your old tripwire, and you can create a new looking tripwire, which is nice, because had they done a new modern version, people would have whined and cried that they didn't get the original. Then they do the original, and people would have whined and cried that they didn't get a newer modern take. So best of both worlds, right? So anyway, we're going to look at this. We'll compare them to the OG one right there. Again, let me tell you about that figure. That is one of the figures that I did not have as a kid. Why? Because I thought he was stupid. I didn't even ask for him, because all he did was search for change. Now I understand there was a reason for him, but I never wanted that figure. I didn't get him to about maybe 8 years ago or so. But anyway, let's stop looking at this. Let's look at this stuff. Stop my rambling. But before we do, if you like the content that I'm giving you, if you enjoy what I'm doing, take a second. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification. Listen, we are less than 150 away from hitting 3,000 subscribers. I'd love to hit that real shortly. So if you're not subscribed, please take a second and subscribe. But let's look at this and not all of this. All right, so we got him out of his plastic-free prison. Now, if you're new to the channel, and I know I gained a lot of subscribers from the buzzer video, let me explain something to you. I like to do this on one take. This is what you're going to get when you get the figure out. So if the figure is broken, you're going to see that the figure is broken. If something's missing, you're going to see that something is missing. That's just how I like to do it. There are other reviewers that do wonderful jobs. They may have them all pretty. I already showed you. They've already maybe warmed them up. I'm going to show you what you're going to get, at least from my point of view. So once again, here is the coffin, is what Lenny calls it, and I love this. I love the artwork. Again, if you were going to go plastic free, the GI Joe team just did it the right way. And again, artwork is amazing there. And then we have the locker, and it says Tripwire, Apsara, and McLeod, which is the mobile armored control lever for explosive ordnance disposal. Again, that's a lot to get an homage to Chris McLeod from the Full Force. If you don't know who that is, check out the Full Force on YouTube, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Number 78, there you have the upside down star, and then the upside down 78. Again, this has been mentioned. I won't go over it again. All right, so quickly, let's look at everything that we got. And here's our figure. As you can see, his feet look kind of janky. Now, I just think that's how he was positioned, but I did not want to move him. I just popped him out. So let's look at everything first, and then we'll take a look at the figure. We'll go over the articulation quickly. Now, his bomb disposal, or his mine searching device. You know what? I can't think. Anyway, someone will correct me. Tell me how wrong I am. I love it. Anyway, so let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at the rat here. So I'm assuming his name is Apsara. I actually looked it up on how to pronounce it. It does have a pliable tail, pliable little feet here, and it actually looks pretty good. This is the first quick look at it, and it does have some paint apps to it. So it's just not all one color. It's got a little a little, not a leash, harness for it. And if you don't know, I do believe that in back in the day they used rats. They trained rats to look for mines and bombs and different things like that. So a nice little homage. He did not have something like this back in the 80s, but they did give this to us, and it's kind of cool. Again, I'm glad that's not a deluxe just because of this. Again, this is a deluxe figure. So we have the basic helmet. Now this is going to be the one for the O-ring figure that we got. And looking at it here, it looks nice. It is pliable, so it should fit on his head really nice. Got a nice little chin guard. The detail looks pretty good. Paint looks good. I don't see it splashed all over the place. And then it has a communication device that is running above it. Now you would assume this is probably not able to communicate with the Joes, but also to communicate with this thing as it's making noise. Now looking at this thing, let's check out. Now this is straight, and feeling this, it feels pretty nice. It doesn't feel like it's going to be bent. All the weapons can be made from stuff like this, in my opinion, so we can get rid of the really jankiness. So he's got the handle here. It's going to sit on the cuff of his forearm. Nice painted green. Here's where you're going to detect the metal. The metal detector. Mine detector. That's probably what I was looking for, right? I was not in the military, so I might get some of these words wrong. These descriptions. But I think it looks really nice. It's got some nice detail to it. It does look different than the original, but that's good because this is how you see, you know, not mine detectors, but metal detectors and stuff like that seem to look a little bit. Now, it'd be nice if this would have kind of just moved up and down, but I'm not going to get too upset about it. That's Roman in the back. He's letting you guys know he agrees. So here's his other helmet. Now this is for a more fully, a full bomb disposal. And again, it looks like it has two different paint apps. So you're going to have a green plastic helmet. Then you got this gray around it, and then you got the black face shield. And again, all in all, it looks pretty good. It's going to go right over. So as I was mentioning, could we throw it on this figure right here? And sure enough, it fits over pretty nicely. And the helmet actually seems big enough and pliable enough that you could use it on a multitude of different figures, which is nice. So if you do have a spare figure like this Duster here, or the mini Joes that you might be able to find at Ollie's, you can create two figures so you have a bomb disposal unit. All right. Here's his pistol. All in a real dark charcoal gray. I don't believe it's really black, or I might be wrong. You get these eyes that play tricks on you as you get older. I guess it is the black gun. It does have a port. It doesn't really look warped right there, but at the front, for some odd reason, it doesn't look bad. But again, nice looking pistol. I believe we've seen it before. Here we have the cable, or the cord. And we got this with Dr. Mindbender. They are soft and pliable. Dr. Mindbender and the Trouble Bubble. Then what we have here is what I would believe is going to be his OG look, as we can see over there. Right now he's wearing the new look, but we kind of have the OG look. The plastic looks like it's in gray here, and then you're going to get these green paint apps. It looks pretty nice. It is different, along with this one is different than what Firefly came with. They could have just reused that. I'm glad they didn't. That one's really bulky. Now you feel this. This is very pliable. Hopefully it'll fit nicely on a different figure, and we'll try it over on this Duster, or maybe we'll swap this one or the other. I'm not sure just yet. But I think it looks pretty good. It looks like you got a couple little latches in the back that's going to hold it together. It obviously has these little mushrooms. I wonder how easily it will clip into place. I know this was an issue with another line that they had to kind of fix. And it's unfortunate when it happens, but this is, it can be difficult at times. But again, this looks pretty good. Here we have the piece that's going to go around the big old helmet. So it's going to kind of drop in, go around the neck. Again, you're going to lose your arms and leg in a big bomb explosion. I guess it depends on what you want to be your course of life after that. All right. Here we have the backpack, which is very similar to what we had with the OG. All right. So you can see where the cord's going to fit in right there. You're going to be able to pop the landmines right inside there. You can see that there's some sort of digital readout. This one had a very similar thing. It's shaped the same. Again, they give you more detail here, which is nice because isn't that what we want? And obviously we can hold the metal detector right here, mine detector, whatever. And they did give you a little bit of blue down there. So here's our mines. And we do have 2 of them. Now, I've already heard people complain, and I gotta say I'm not going to have a disagreement, is that the peg is on the bottom, which means it doesn't really flush into a stand like this. Now, if you have cardboard or something, or you're outside in sand or the grass, you can do it. This really should have had the peg here, and they should have made it so you can plug it in through here. So this kind of pops in here, and I've already seen someone kind of complain, and I don't like saying complain because it's an observation. In case I dropped one, here's another one. That once you pop it in, I'm not really sure how you get it out. You're probably going to take a flat blade and just kind of pry in there and pop it out. But we have a second one, which unfortunately I don't know if we can really do anything with. It doesn't pop in here. There's not a section here. You can see how it's painted. And the mine looks really nice. But unfortunately, can't really place it anywhere. I can balance it right there. So I think that's a miss. I'm not really sure what they were thinking when they created that. But not everything's going to be perfect, and it does get to be a little disappointing. Here's another piece that's going to wrap around the neck to protect the neck in case of the bomb explosion. The landmine goes off, different things like that. And then here we have the, wow. So this, I thought this was the same one that Scrap Iron has. I believe this one is actually a little bit different. So this is a little bit different of a Game Gear, I believe. It looks very similar. Maybe I'm wrong. I just looked at this and assumed that it was the exact same one. But I'm definitely questioning that, and I really don't want to run down and grab Scrap Iron. So if you know, again, there's been a lot of these done. Post it in the comments. Tell me if this is the same one that comes with Scrap Iron. I'll actually find out a little bit later. Now, it is kind of soft. Doesn't really bother me. This looks perfectly fine. So we have the McCloud device, and I've heard some people complain there is no running treads. It would have been nice, even if it didn't have moving treads, if they was just soft. Just kind of going to sit there. But it does look nice. It has some detail to it. So it looks like it, you know, has a couple treads there and then a couple treads over here. So it can move up stuff, back over stuff. It does have a couple lights right here, or what should be lights. This can move up, move back and forth, so it goes back down into the position. So now if you're trying to defuse a bomb, it does have a little bit of maneuverability. But unfortunately, the claw here doesn't move. If the claw was able to move up and down, you could do a lot more with it. Oh, I guess it can move. Okay, so it can move up and down here. I didn't make a mistake there. But if it could rotate, it'd make it a lot better. But I guess you can still do enough if need be. And it looks like it has a handle, so you can pick it up to carry it. So when it goes into the down position, he can pick it up and carry it to wherever he needs to be. So nice little look at the detail there. I think that's everything. So let's take a look at the figure. See how he looks. I'm going to try and make him look like the OG, and then I will work on making this figure over here, one of these figures that I have, closer to this. All right, so quickly we'll take a look at the face sculpt. And It's not bad, but it doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't see it and be like, oh, it's not great, it's not bad. It looks fine. Paint looks good. Eyes look pretty good. And the hair looks really good, to be honest. And it has more of a red tint, at least what I'm looking for. Looking through, it looks more light brown, but it's really a red tint. So the hair actually looks really nice. It's parted nicely. It's hard to say if it has two tones of paint on it or if it's just the shadow. But all in all, the head does look pretty good. The face is very plain, in my opinion. So, he can kind of look up. And I can see he looks up. He can kind of look down, side to side, and can kind of move back and forth, but you don't get a lot of maneuverability in the neck here. Now with all this shoulder pads and everything, we'll see what he can do here. So, arms go up. You know, so these here are really going to get in the way. There's no way to get around it. They're just going to kind of be in the way till you decide to pull them off. But for the most part, he can do a T-pose perfectly fine. They are soft and pliable. They go down all the way. He does have butterfly joints, but I don't think the butterfly joints do a lot of good. They do have them, but they just don't have enough mobility that they can actually move all the way in the front to hold a sword or a pistol together. Pinless double joints. And then you got your wrist swivel. Once again, nothing's been heated. This finger actually feels really, really good. He feels solid, not soft, not too hard. Popping this up, he has the ab crunch. So you can go up and down. A little shaky. Now this has kind of been an issue with some of their figures. It doesn't bother me all that much because it's on a ratchet system. So they're able to stand perfectly fine. But the ratchet system, even having that, even if this was super solid, like super stiff, it wouldn't matter because it's not going to be another position other than here or here. If you didn't have the ratchet system, then yes, you'd have a real issue with it being floppy. He does shift back and forth and then up and down. Now, it does have drop-down hips. He can do the Jean-Claude Van Damme. Again, this does get in the way, so I'm not a big fan of how these are. But again, you're trying to make it so he's going to be protected. And then we have pinless double knee joints. No problems at all. Again, nothing is being heated up. I'm trying to think. Okay. And you can hear the ratcheting system on it. So we shouldn't have too much of an issue. This really doesn't even cause too many problems of being in the way. And something I tend to miss, legs do go back and the legs do go up. There's, as you can see, so boot cut looks good, ankle rockers, and again, once they removed these awful shin guards, you can see the difference in the mobility that they can get. Now, I didn't mind the shin guards look, but they really got in the way of the mobility, so you can see the difference right here. All right, so let's quickly take a look at this figure, and here's our OG one, and let's throw the mask on him. Let's see how much he looks like the original one, and if he's worth you going out to pick up. So, looking at these two, all right. So, this is the actual OG one. And you can tell because of the belt and everything. So, it's going to pop. See if we can get these on here. I really hate when these don't work. The mushroom doesn't work. It is a pain. And if you need to get that on, the best thing to do These ones, that side seem to go on fairly easy. Once you pop these things off and you find if you collect Valaverse, especially the early ones, they have kind of fixed it. But if you ever have an issue with getting the mushrooms in, this is the mushroom part. This is the whole side. People say heat it up and then push it in, different things like that. No, you don't want to do that. You want to heat this side up. Actually kind of keep this side cool, so this is hard. So the mushroom is hard. Yes, I said hard, soft. And then, and this really works for the Valaverse stuff, once this is heated up, if this is cooled down or it's hard the way it's supposed to, it'll pop into place really nicely. So, all right. So, looking at this figure, we'll throw a pistol in here. All right. So they gave him texture, which the original one did not have. But as you can see, the belt runs through here, and then he has the piece that is going to protect his crotch. Now, again, I didn't have one of these as a kid, so I wonder if it really did help protecting the crotch, because as we know, crotches and O-rings used to break. But you get the belt, which is green, that runs around. Again, no texture, but I love the fact that they did that because it makes more sense for him to have pouches. Looking at the face mask, you do have the chin guard. Now his was green. They made it gray, and they made the goggles gray rather than black. But on the side, you have the little earmuffs, but this looks more realistic. There you have his bars and how long he's served. If I got that wrong, I do apologize. We'll throw the backpack on here. So we can kind of look at the backpack, and again, it looks very similar all the way to putting the hose on the same side. There's your mine, and all the digital readout, and the shape of it and everything. So what they did change was they gave him armor against the thighs. So again, if he explodes, he's going to lose his knees. Hopefully they'll have enough that they can put a fake leg on there that he can still ride his skateboard. They did still go with the gray boots, a little bit different. Again, as you can see, the sidearm is holstered over here on the right side. Gloves are also gray, and they even did a good job, as you can see how they're just kind of rectangled. They did the same thing here, and all the way to the gloves, which they are very textured and look very similar. So they did a wonderful job of making two different figures, or how you can kind of make two different figures. So what we will do here is we're going to take this guy, just kind of pop this up here. So quickly, let's take this Valaverse figure. It's just a figure that I have lying around. Again, this guy should be going on clearance soon. You might be able to find a Tiger Force Dusty. But if you have one of these figures and, you know, you got them when they were all on clearance or on sale, you can use him or many of the other ones. And actually, the color matches fairly well. Probably going to have to remove his sidearm here, his belt and everything. That's unfortunate. Now, this thing, it seems to be, well, I think once we kind of clamp it down, unfortunately, I don't have this. I have to pop off the body and pull that down. Kind of throw this behind him. Or should that go on first? I think that goes on over it. So if we're looking at this here, it's hard to tell. Again, it's your toy. You do what you need to do. Oh, it goes like that. I'm an idiot. That's okay. We all know that. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. Again, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't hit that like, take a second and do so for me. I greatly appreciate it. So we're just going to throw this over because, again, I can't really do much until I remove the belt. And again, to do this with any of the other figures, it's going to be a little difficult. So we can kind of throw this over. Now for me, I would like to... I don't like the shoulders. It really gets in the way. I guess I'd rather have it on a different figure. But we got to find something else So now you have a spare figure and you have a bomb disposal team. This here, I think you have to kind of pop the head off, possibly, to get that to go on there. But let's try it and see what happens. If we can slide this. I know we don't have to. So this makes more sense. Again, if you want it to look like the OG, you don't have to have all this on it. But this actually doesn't look bad. Again, this here, I feel like you're in for a world of hurt if your bomb goes off. So there you go. That is the look at it. Again, this thing just kind of plugs in here. Plugs right in there. Doesn't look bad. Now, while that stayed on there, we need to kind of, you got to push it on a little bit harder there. And then we just kind of throw this on here. Also, while we're doing the review, if anyone had noticed, Ash's hand from NECA floating around on my desk, please point it out because I can't find it. And I know it's here and it's driving me absolutely nuts. Ed, that is for you because you said he's probably with my rock and roll. And I'm starting to think maybe he is. So, do you have your bomb disposal team? All you need is a cheap figure to armor up. Of course, then you need to find some sort of accessories for it. So let's wrap it up and discuss it. All right, so my first impression of Tripwire is I think it's actually a really good figure. I think the figure itself seems to be made really well. He's hard where he's supposed to be hard. He's soft where he's supposed to be soft. And yes, I said that. But if you've had any issues with figures, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He is a deluxe, which is nice because they give you a lot of different stuff. I know people don't like the price point, but you can make the original, you can make a new version, or if you're like me and have extra Valiverse, Marvel Legends, or GI Joe figures, you can create a bomb disposal team. I love the rat. It's actually really cool. Again, not too much. It's not a big one. That's not what makes it a deluxe. The homage to Chris McLeod and the Full Force, one of the best Joe YouTubers. Check it out. But again, I do like this figure. I'm pretty happy with it, at least on my first impressions of what we just got. So take a look at Hasbro Pulse and see if they're still available if you're interested. Alright, so that is my Tripwire review. Again, it is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It was available. I'm not sure if it is still. I gotta say, these things sit up there and people want them to go on discount. Hasbro Pulse really doesn't do that. But I have noticed when they start shipping, they start selling out, at least these Hasbro Pulse exclusives. So anyway, that's it. Again, you know where to get it. I am going to take off, but hey, listen. If you're on social medias, take a second. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, A Punk with Toys. Give me a follow there. I'd appreciate it. And again, if you're still here, you've been paying attention this long, don't go anywhere. Take a second. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a GI Joe video. Now I'm going to get out of here. But you know what? Don't go anywhere. What you want to do is look right up here. This is the buzzer review. And down here is the playlist of all the other GI Joes that I've done. Take care. Have a wonderful day.